Hey there Facebook, it's Vanessa here again, motivational speaker and head coach at Live, Love, Give, and I've got a really special message for you guys today, and it's all about making your best decisions. And the reason why I wanted to make this live for you guys today is it's just been coming up over and over again as I get to meet more and more of you out there. You know, you're coming to me in these power sessions and you're overwhelmed. You're completely overwhelmed by all of these different opportunities that are presenting themselves to you, and you're really struggling to have a filtering process as to what the right decision is. And I want to say hi to Steve and Laval and Wabatsya, sorry I can't say your name too well, and Yvonne from Mexico. Awesome to have you guys here. I hope you guys are ready to learn a bit more about making your best decisions. Because, and Amin, thank you for joining. And so what I wanted to say was, I've just got off a call with a wonderful woman who was having a lot of trouble with making decisions. And she came to me, and at the beginning of the call, she was completely overwhelmed. She could see both sides. She knew the pros and cons of both, and she was just completely just overwhelmed and anxious about this decision that she was going to make. And we tend to overthink things when we don't have a good filtering process. So today I want to share some specifics with you, but I'm going to start with talking about more of it, making a decision in a more general context for you. So because a lot of what I do taps into personality psychology, and it's very individual to you. So because I'm on a group call with you guys and I've got all different personalities going on here, I want to start with more of a general concept around making your best decisions. And that is that when we get crystal clear, like you guys hear me say all the time, around who we really are, around what we really want, we start to gain a sort of filtering process when we're faced with a decision, which is this in alignment with who I really am and what I'm really working toward or not? And many of us, we don't actually understand who we are and what we want, and we just see all of these different possibilities. And for this woman this morning, she's somebody who's very focused on the external. So she's looking to the external to sort of gauge what decision she should make. And for some of us out there, that can be a good thing to look at the external, which I'm going to tap into very, very shortly. Just say another quick hi to you guys who've joined me while I've been talking. Julie, lovely to have you here from Iowa, and Judy and Manu and Shooter and Jamie and Heng and Huang and Anne, nice to have you back again. And Michael, Steve, thank you so much. And Manolo and Ron, awesome. I absolutely love having you guys on here with me. It lights up my day. And Laval, thank you for saying hi. And so in terms of these decisions, that's the general gist. So if we don't know who we are, what we want, it's pretty hard to know what decisions are right for us, isn't it? We make these decisions, and sometimes you got to make a decision to take some action in a direction when we're in that unknown to work out who we are and what we want, don't we? So that's just the general gist of it. But today, what I really wanted to introduce you guys to is that we're all different, and I want to tap into a tiny little wee bit of personality psychology. And you've probably heard out there that, in society, we've got a bunch of people who are more thinkers, and we've got a bunch of people who are more feelers. And we tend to know what that is. If you've ever come across any Myers-Briggs sort of personality testing, if you've done a bit of that, you sort of would know that you get given this sort of like 4-letter code. And one of those letters is either a T or an F for either a thinker or a feeler. Now, thinkers, they're more focused, I should say that these are your decision-making processes. So you're either somebody who is a thinker when you make your best decisions, or you're a feeler when you make your best decisions. And all thinkers feel and all feelers think. So it doesn't have anything to do with our capacity to be intellectual whatsoever, or it doesn't mean if you're a feeler, you're just totally emotional. The thinkers have emotions too, but this is ultimately how we sort of start tapping into a new level of our self-awareness as to how we make our best decisions. So for the thinkers out there, they make their best decisions when they're focused more on the impersonal, impartial sort of data, metrics, sort of, the data that they need in order to make their best decisions. Whereas feelers make their best decisions when they tap into the emotional aspect. It's the emotional impact that their decision will have on themselves, on another human being. So I hope that this is making sense so far, because I want to go a little bit deeper than this. So if you think about the population being divided into thinkers and feelers, and when we look at the general population as a whole, there's actually more feelers in the world than there are thinkers. It's about a 45-55 split, favoring more feelers. But then if you break it down between the sexes, there's actually a huge disparity. So 75% of women are more feelers than thinkers, and only 25% of women tend to be more thinkers, which is, focused on the data, the metrics, devoid of the emotion. Whereas for men, it's more of an even split. It's about I think it's a 60-40, or it might be 55-45 split, where there's still more feeling men, but it's more even spilled there. So that's just to give you a quick little gist around that. And I want to check in with you guys quickly before I go any deeper. Is this making sense? Let me know. Have you come across this idea of thinkers and feelers in terms of how we make decisions? And let me know. And just want to check in. Kayek, thank you for joining. And Eric, love to see you here. And Gail, thank you so much. Yes, so let's keep going with it. So thinkers and feelers. So then what we actually identify, and the reason why, Myers-Briggs use these codes, that's one layer of self-awareness and understanding whether you are, thanks for letting me know, Anne, whether whether you make your decisions based on impersonal data and metrics as a thinker, or you more so make your decisions about emotional impact on the self or on others as a feeler. But below that, that's great. But then below that, where the real gold is when we can tap into how your brain is actually wired. Now, I only want to go not too deep into this because it can kind of be a bit overwhelming if it's the first time that you've heard about it. But just wanting to say hi to Natasha. I love having you come into these lives with me. So thank you for joining. And where the real gold is with understanding how we make our best decisions and personality psychology is how our brains are wired as individuals. And it is really, really cool stuff in terms of knowing yourself, knowing why you do what you do, knowing which mental process or cognitive function that you used in order to make your best decisions, because we're all different. So I want to just explain just a really quick overview about the 4 different cognitive functions that we use as individuals to make our best decisions. So there's 4 different types. So there's the thinker, there's 2 for the thinkers, and there's 2 for the feelers. Now there's, what there is, I'll go through the thinking types firstly. So there's 2 different mental processes that thinkers use or can use as an individual in order to make their best decisions. One of them is called extroverted thinking, or there's a nickname for it named effectiveness. And what that process is about, they make these people who have this mental process as a strength, they make their best decisions when they are not focused on human emotion or how they really feel emotionally at all. They make their best decision when they're focused on what works. And that's very, thinker-like is very, data, metrics, what works. And it's really about pass and fail sort of metrics. And these people, we want them to operate with that strength. We don't want them to tap into different ones of those cognitive functions or the feeling functions, because that's actually not how they as an individual make their best decisions. The second type of thinking cognitive function that we make our best decisions from, if you have this cognitive function as a strength, is introverted thinking, or a nickname for it is accuracy. And what accuracy, how they make their best decisions, is ultimately when they are actually focused on what makes logical sense to them as an individual. So they've been collecting a lot of data, a lot of metrics. They've got a lot of sort of systems going on inside of their brains, and they need to pick and choose like they would off a spreadsheet, like a big Excel spreadsheet. Then they need to sort of hone in to the data, the metrics for that specific decision, and make a decision from there. And it's very subjective. It's very tapped into what makes logical sense to them. Now, I hope that this is making sense to you guys out there. Let me know if I'm going too in depth. I know that this can be, it's a great system to learn about. It can be kind of overwhelming when you're first introduced to it. So I'm trying my best to explain it in a way that you guys kind of can get it and just get a little bit of value from. But now I want to just quickly shift over to the two feeling cognitive functions. So remember, feelers make their best decisions when they're more focused on the emotional impact that decision will have, either on themselves or on others, on the human sort of element. Now, the first cognitive function for feelers, so a lot of people have this one as a strength, it's extroverted feeling, or nicknamed harmony. And harmony is all about being very, collecting the data about what people in the external environment, people who are going to be impacted by this decision, what their needs are. And it's very attuned to that. And that's how those particular people who have that mental process as a key strength, that's how they make their best decisions, is focusing on gathering the information as to the emotional impact and needs of the people who will be impacted, making a decision from that place. And finally, the second feeling cognitive function that a lot of people have as a strength for their decision making is a process called introverted feeling, or authenticity. Now, this is a mental process which is very, very subjective. It's very internalized, and it's about what feels right to me, what feels right down to my bones, down to my core. And this is what people with this as a strength, with this process as a strength, that's how they make their best decisions. So I know that could have been kind of overwhelming to you guys. I hope that it has been helpful, and it's kind of got your brain sort of thinking, maybe what's my best one? Where do I make my best decisions? And we all have access to all of those cognitive functions, but what makes up our personality is the degree of strength that we have in each of those different processes. And also the weaknesses that we have. So we all have key strengths in some of these processes, and I've just shared a quick overview with you guys today about the decision-making mental processes that we have access to. And I hope that it's been valuable, but my real message to you guys today is about making the best decisions for you as an individual. And it's ultimately a big reason as to why I do what I do and why I've studied and learned about what I have, because we're all individuals, and I do not believe that there's a one size fits all in terms of our personal development, in terms of how we make our best decisions, how we learn, how we deal with stress, all of these different aspects. That's why, understanding different models of who we are and personality psychology is really, really valuable if you're looking to grow, develop, and become your highest self, make your best decisions, learn in the best way, grow in the best way, uncover what your key core strengths, or what I like to call your genius, is, and ultimately also how you're triggered in relationships. It's all happening in our brains, and definitely how we deal and overcome stress and overwhelm. I hope that that's been valuable. I want to check in with you guys. Ask me any questions. I'd love to help and serve you. Michaela, thank you. I'm glad that was resonating with you. And Jaffa, thank you for joining me. And Usama, It's wrong to be senseless. I'm not too sure what you mean by that one, but clarify that question with me and I'd love to answer it for you, Summer. And Matt, nice to have you. Thank you for joining me. And Velasaran, oh, I so struggle with some of your names. I'm so sorry. And Eric, glad that that's been good. Thank you, Sabri. And Anne, yes, if you can't tell, I kind of get really juiced up about this topic. So I hope that I haven't just gone, like I tend to. And I hope that you've gained some value. I haven't gone too quickly for you guys. And awesome. Glad to hear that, Sanula. Thank you so much. Glad that it's been valuable. And guys, do you have any questions about, some decisions? And I want to share a little quick story about, I mentioned this woman who I was on a call with just earlier. And she was completely overwhelmed, and it was just a quick one of my power sessions. So I wasn't taking her through a full personality profiling session to exactly uncover how her brain is wired. So I was trying to meet her where she was at and help give her some tools right here, right now to help, move her forward and get some clarity. And it was an interesting scenario because she was struggling with these multiple decisions, and I got her to find a coin. And you guys out there might find this valuable. If you've got a decision to make and you don't know anything about the personality psychology, you just you just have this decision that's been playing on your mind. And what I said to do, get clear on what the two options are, and then get yourself a coin, and then put, one of the decisions is heads, one of the decisions is tails, and flip that coin. And then see what comes up. What has been the decision that's come up? Did it land on heads and you've got to go for option one? Well, how do you feel about that? Because it's so funny. I really believe that we always have the answers within us. We're just blocking ourselves from that wisdom. So sometimes it takes you flipping a coin to just something to make the decision and see what comes up for you. See how you feel about it, and that will give you so much more clarity. And this woman, she came to me and she was totally overwhelmed, totally could see both sides, didn't know which option to have. And by the end of it, she was feeling clarity. She was feeling centered. She'd tapped into that truth and she knew it was there all along. So I hope that that's a valuable little tool for you guys. If you're faced with a decision, you don't know anything about what I've explained to you guys today in terms of personality psychology, and you're looking to just try and get more of your truth to come out, then use the coin test. It's a great one. And if it is something that you're interested in, definitely reach out to me in terms of the personality psychology. I'd love to introduce you to that. And let me see. Snula, 2 thinking and 2 feeling decision points are good, but want to read more about it with illustrations. Could you suggest a book? Yes. Okay, a book. I've got one right here. This is quite a good book. It's called Please Understand Me. Yes. So David Kiersey, this is a really good one, but it's pretty in-depth. It's pretty challenging. It's not really a beginner's book, I would say. So yeah, it's, you could give that a go and start doing some research based on, Myers-Briggs typology and that sort of thing. But it is something that gets very in-depth, and not many people are willing to go the depth to understand the neuroscience behind it. That's why, that's why I studied it, because I want to introduce it in a simple way for people to make it digestible without them having to go and do all the study and the certification and so forth to be able to access those tools. So I hope that that's valuable to you, Sanula. I'm glad that it's interesting to you. And Anne, I know for sure I'm feeler, but unsure which type. Yeah, definitely. Yes, so, do a little bit of research yourself. If it's something that you're interested in, then let's jump on a call and I can introduce it to you. And I do personality profiling sessions. They go for about 90 minutes. They can be pretty in depth, but at the end of it, you get to uncover, your personality makeup, and it's really fascinating stuff. Karan, thank you for joining, and Yeah, so Matt Latham, yes, muscle testing works well as also in place of the coin. Definitely, definitely. Not everybody knows much about the muscle testing, but you know, everybody's usually got access to a coin. So yeah, I definitely agree. And yeah, if you want to go down that avenue for sure, it can be really fascinating stuff. And yeah, awesome, Anne. Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll let you know some more details there. And Snula, thank you. And Chris, nice to have you. Thank you. Yes, and we should definitely connect. Yeah, I already feel a connection with you. I love when you pop on, and I love all your questions. So I'll drop a link and let's jump on a call. We'll do a power session, then I'll see if I can help and support you and just get to see your beautiful face. That'll be fun. And guys, do you have any more questions, any more comments? That's really my message for you guys today, is all about making your best decisions. And, you know, I really do believe that it's our decisions that determine our destiny. So it's really important stuff to understand how you make your best decisions and come from that place. Build that self-awareness, have a filtering system that allows you to make your best decisions and get out of the overwhelm. And yeah, that's my wish for you guys for sure. And if there's nothing more, guys, oh, something else has come up. Matt, you're right, muscle testing is not very well known, but I use it in every decision that I already know the answers to, except I always do, hence the muscle testing. Yeah, I love that, Matt, because isn't it funny how disattached we are to what we already know? And yeah, so many of us, you know, we get kind of overwhelmed and we're looking to the external, and then we pull ourselves away from that truth and that inner knowing. And that's why the coin test is just something simple. And like you're saying, Matt, you know, doing that muscle testing so that you can get access to that truth about what you know to be the right decision. So I love that. Yes, is listening to our gut instinct or being a feeler. Yeah, so listening to your gut instinct, it's different. So what I introduce you guys to a little bit in terms of the thinker and the feeler. So for feelers, and particularly who have introverted feeling, that authenticity process, they absolutely need to come from that gut feeling. That is ultimately how they make their best decisions. It's their absolute strength above everybody else. So that for sure, that's how they can. But if you, for instance, took somebody who has their key strength of that extroverted thinking, which is the complete opposite to the introverted feeling, that if they were listening to their gut instinct and making decisions from that place, guaranteed then they're making their worst decisions because it's their absolute weakness. So that's why it's really important to identify, you know, how your brain is wired, how you're different from other people. And I hope that that's been helpful to you there, Anne, to get you just a little bit thinking in that way. Thank you so much, Natasha. Love that this has been valuable to you. And Mel, thank you for showing up. So guys, I hope, again, yeah, that was valuable. I hope that it's got you thinking about how you make your best decisions. I really believe that, you know, we're making a choice and we're making decisions each and every day. And so the quicker that you can uncover how you make your best decisions as an individual, start tapping into that, start living by it, start learning about it, that is what is ultimately going to shape your destiny in the best way. So yeah, focus on those decisions and building that self-awareness around who you are, what you want, and how you as an individual operate and how your brain is wired. And Thoreen, my friend, so grateful for you to join me. Thank you for jumping on. I'm just about to jump off, unfortunately, but yeah, thank you, Anne. I'm grateful that this has been valuable to you. And Yassine, thank you for joining me. You guys, I absolutely love connecting with you, as you guys know, and thank you so much for being here with me again. It's been awesome. Anatha, thank you for joining me again, and Robert. I hope that this has been you know, let me know if you guys want more sort of in-depth sort of videos like this, where I introduce, you know, more of the personality psychology, more about how our brains are wired. I'm an absolute geek when it comes to this stuff. I absolutely love it. I get excited about it. But if it's something that you'd like me to do more videos moving forward on, I'll let me know so that I know that. And otherwise, I can often keep it pretty general, because I know I'm speaking to a larger audience. I don't know you personally, and like I said, I do not believe that there's a one size fits all when it comes to our personal development. So yeah, hope that's been valuable. Thank you so much, Jamie. You guys rock, and you rock my world, and I'm sending you so much love, light, gratitude, and yeah, thank you so much for being here with me, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Love that, Matt. Geek life.